What's up, Eagles fans? Welcome into the All-22 review. I'm Fran Duffy, and today we're going to look back at the Eagles' record-setting win against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football, prime time under the lights. And offensively, we got to start with Jalen Hurts. His performance, one for the ages here against Green Bay. He did it through the air, on the ground. Big-time performance from QB1, the first quarterback in history to throw for 150, run for 150, and throw a couple of tutties on top of that. Outstanding performance from Jalen Hurts, and we're going to take a look at exactly what he did to beat the Packers on third down. He did it through the air and on the ground. Let's see exactly how he got it done. Jalen Hurts was lethal on third down on Sunday night against Green Bay. 3rd and 10, first third down of the game. You can see Green Bay, they think they've got an answer. It's man-to-man coverage with a robber. There's the robber, safety Adrian Amos. Hurts makes him miss. He made the linebacker miss. He makes Savage miss, and he takes off for an X play in the run game. That is a scramble outside of structure. Later in the drive, 3rd and 6. Now the Eagles in an empty set. It's man-to-man again, and this time Jalen Hurts takes off on a designed quarterback draw. So this one, perfectly within structure. He gets the Eagles into the red zone. Eagles score a touchdown. Later in the game, 3rd and 2. Eagles under center, play action, max pro shot play. Jalen Hurts drops back, and he sees that it's two double teams across the board. Look at all that green grass. He has got a green light in the black jersey, and he takes off for a 40-plus yard run to once again get the Eagles into the low red zone. And so now Green Bay says, we got to back off. We cannot play man-to-man and get burned by Jalen in the run game. So the Eagles spread things out. They go empty. It's zone coverage. Now you're going to high-low those middle zone defenders. A.J. Brown for 19 yards in the middle of the field. Great way to attack Green Bay in that zone coverage. And then later in the game, again, it's 3rd and 12. Green Bay in zone coverage. They don't want to get burned by Jalen's legs. Devontae Smith's going to run the outbreaking route at 12, 13, 14 yards. You got a rusher right in his face. Jalen delivers this to Devontae on the money, and it's a first down. Eagles move the chains and put points on the board. Jalen Hurts, lethal on third down. So obviously Jalen's legs, a big part of the rushing success, but a lot of credit has to go to the running backs and to the offensive line. And one thing that stood out to me while watching the game on Sunday night was the athleticism and the range of the tackles, Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, and how they impact the run scheme and what the Eagles can call up front. And that starts obviously with Jeff Stoutland, the run game coordinator, but huge credit to Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata with their athleticism and their skill set, the flexibility they give the coaching staff. Very apparent watching just this 3-play sequence here on the offensive film. I just love this 3-play sequence here from the Eagles offense. You see Lane Johnson used as a puller. Not every team in the NFL has athletic tackles where you can run QB counter read, where you see Lane Johnson pulling from the right to the left, and he's out in front for Jalen Hurts. Again, this is play 12 in the game. It's 2nd and 4. Eagles get a first down. Very next play, you're going to get Lane Johnson as a puller again. But this is a different play entirely. This is tackle trap, where the Eagles are going to trap the 3 technique. Lane Johnson creates the seal. Miles Sanders is working through contact. He gets downhill. He's shot out of a cannon and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. First play of the next drive. So this is 3 straight plays on the offensive tape. What do we get again? We see Lane Johnson used as a puller. This time it's tackle power, where Lane is going to work up to the 2nd level. So again, we've seen Lane Johnson as a puller on 3 straight plays, 3 different run schemes, 3 different uses of the quarterback on these plays. Just an outstanding example of the variety of this Eagles rushing attack. So a great case of Lane Johnson's athleticism, and obviously we can't talk about athleticism on the offensive line without talking about the guy in the middle, Jason Kelce, number 62. He stood out in the run game as well. Here are a few of my favorite plays from Jason Kelce. When we think of Jason Kelce in the run game, it's often in plays just like this. Him out in the move, these sweep plays out to the perimeter where he is the lead blocker for the running back, and it turns into an X play on the ground. But we don't often give enough credit for his work at the point of attack on double teams. Look at him and Landon Dickerson here, moving the 3 technique off the ball. This was a consistent issue for Green Bay in this game. And again, time and time again, here's the nose tackle. Look at the vertical displacement here from Kelce and Dickerson, getting that defensive tackle off his spot. And now you have all that room for Miles Sanders to be able to push vertically and move the chains. Another great example here. Again, look how deep into the backfield, up into the lap of the linebacker here. Kelce, Dickerson, these double teams on the play side of these runs, that was a problem for Green Bay all night long. So the offensive line went to work on Sunday night against Green Bay, and I would be remiss if I did not mention the Jeff Stoutland University t-shirts that are now available. They support the Eagles Autism Foundation. Tuesday, Giving Tuesday this week, so now's a great opportunity for a great cause to support the Eagles Autism Foundation. Go on, check out those Jeff Stoutland University t-shirts. You can get one of these zip-ups like I've got on right now. Go check it out over at the PhiladelphiaEagles.com. Outstanding cause, and again, this week with Giving Tuesday right around the corner, now is the time to go on and support the Eagles Autism Foundation. Now, before we shut the book on the offensive performance, we got to give some love to the running backs, the guys carrying the football, right? I thought Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, all three ball carriers, very decisive in this game. I picked one example from each guy and from plays that stood out to me on Sunday night. I thought all of the Eagles ball carriers were extremely decisive in this game over Green Bay. Watch Miles Sanders here. This is going to be a tackle power play where Lane Johnson's going to pull to the play side. You see Jason Kelce working up to the second level. That backside linebacker, he gets a little overzealous. What does Miles Sanders do? He cuts off that linebacker, goes back against the grain, and he goes 25 plus yards for a first down. Great read there from Miles, very decisive in the hole. Kenny Gainwell here, 3rd and 4. You've got to get downhill fast. This is a quick hitting play. It's a tackle trap play. Mailata's coming back to take care of the 3 technique. Gainwell trusts that block is going to hit. He gets downhill for 10 yards on 3rd and 4. Eagles move the chains. One more play, and this is as the Eagles are trying to milk away clock late in the game. 4th quarter, Boston Scott. This is going to be a counter read play where you're going to get the tight end and Isaac Seumalo both coming from the backside. You look at Boston Scott here. He's got a defender in the hole, jump cut to find green grass and get downhill. Look at the X play in the run game. Grant Calcaterra out in front. All 3 running backs, very decisive in this win. Going over to the defensive side of the football, I thought there were some really well-schemed plays from the Eagles coaching staff, and a huge credit to the guys executing those plays as well. We'll start on the back end. 2 interceptions of quarterback Aaron Rodgers. One was a first time in history that it happened. Let's take a look at the 2 picks, Josiah Scott and Reed Blankenship. All right, so excellent disguise gets the Eagles 2 interceptions in this game. First one, 3rd and 5, too high look pre-snap. Aaron Rodgers is going to drop back, and Hargrave is going to get into the backfield, push him off his spot. Now, it was a too high look pre-snap, but the Eagles rotate into a 1 high man coverage look, and Darius Slay does an outstanding job plastering in his coverage. He's able to get the PBU, step in front of this, nearly an interception for Slay, but it turns into a pick for Josiah Scott. Outstanding use of disguise there from the Eagles, and also the front alignment, a sim pressure here from the Eagles. 5-man look pre-snap. Kaiser White drops out. Hargrave gets into the backfield clean off the busted protection, and then Rodgers is forced off his spot, forced into a bad throw, and the Eagles come away with the interception. Go a little bit later in the game, and we see another great use of disguise from the Eagles defense. You're going to get the pre-snap motion, and watch, Marcus Epps is going to travel with that motion, and you also have the corners looking like it's going to be man-to-man coverage, squaring up to the receiver. It looks like it's going to be single high man-to-man, but at the snap of the ball, that is the opposite of what Aaron Rodgers gets, because it is actually a split safety zone coverage look, basically a form of quarters coverage, and Reed Blankenship steps in front of this throw. That would have been a good throw against 1 high man, but here against 2 high zone, Blankenship steps in front of the pass for the interception. Just an outstanding use of pre-snap disguise. Changing the picture against a veteran quarterback in Aaron Rodgers results in 2 picks here for the Eagles defense. And the Eagles getting to Aaron Rodgers multiple times in this game, a result of a number of well-schemed rushes up front from the defensive line. Let's take a look at how they got to QB 12. 2 sacks from the Eagles in this game came as a direct result of stunts up front. First one here, 3rd and 5. You see Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave as a pair of 3 techniques, and you're going to get ET stunts where the end, Hassan Reddick, he's going to slash inside across the face of the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers tries to escape to his outside, but Fletcher Cox is there as a contained player. This ET stunt, end first, then tackle, results in a sack for number 91. Later in the game, 3rd and 7, a little bit of a unique front here from the Eagles. You have Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick working inside, and those 2 alongside Hargrave are going to work a 3-man pirate stunt where they are going to beat the protection from Green Bay. Reddick loops inside. You're going to have Brandon Graham circling back in as well. Those 2 combined for a sack. Fletcher Cox right there as well. The Eagles defensive front, unique looks here off the ball to get after the quarterback. So a lot of plays to break down on both sides of the football here this week. To make sure you don't miss anything, go check out the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast. Myself, Greg Cosell, Ben Fennell, Chris McPherson. We're going to get you caught up on everything that you saw here and more in this segment. So go check that out wherever podcasts can be found. And we'll be breaking down Eagles-Titans this week on Eagles Game Plan. Don't miss that. If you're here locally in Philadelphia, that's Sunday morning at 10 a.m. on NBC 10, or check it out on Friday on PhiladelphiaEagles.com. Until then, we'll see you next week right here on the All-22 Review.